P stars of Reddit, what are the dirty secrets in your industry? NL scenes aren't as glamorous as they appear in the actual videos. I've worked behind the scenes of numerous scenes where during the SX, the filming had to stop because the female, or male depending on the scene, had to clean up. Which is going to happen every now and then if you're doing an LSX. But professional sites make you think that it's always perfectly clean and free of any number 2 incidences. Not the case. You can't have a party where Shti lives and not expect Shti to show up. I've got 2 friends who worked for a SX text company. Horny dudes send texts to a number from the back of a magazine with some hot lady in the photo. My friends flirted back, with a side order of trying to get them to call her, presumably more profitable, phone lines. They'd talk about what they were wearing, what the men would like to do to them, how horny the text from the customers made them. Both of my friends were dudes. I'll be honest. Reading this thread has turned me off of professional PRN quite a lot. I wasn't the biggest fan anyways because it always seemed too fake to me. But now. Friend and his GF did camming from home. The payment system was set up in quarters of $500 so you had to make $500 in order to cash out. They didn't get enough clicks. Ended up working a ton and never got paid. I assume this is how sites keep so many newcomers in and out. Some stay. Of course. BC they get popular but it was pretty sleazy. Buddy was just trying to make an extra $250 before rent was due : I've personally never done it but I have a friend who runs a fetish website. She asked me to do fetish pregnancy wrestling when I was pregnant. She also asked if I would do some feet stuff. I respectfully declined though. She's told me stories of different fetish stuff she does. She does the smoker's cough fetish stuff and fakes the coughing. She offered me $800 to be on set for 8 hours, not filming the full time. But had to stay around and food was provided, for the pregnancy stuff. The smoker's cough fetish stuff. There really is a fetish for everything. Isn't there? Welp can't watch PRN anymore. Many big name PRN stars moonlight as escorts. Not sure how well known that is. Also so do Instagram models = fly me to your private party for SX. Not everyone obvs. But it happens. Wasn't something I'd thought about before. There was a site that hosted PRN bloopers and cut footage. I browsed it a few times and found some pretty funny bloopers but those were a lot less common than the Shti showing an actress getting upset because a male co-star hurt her and wouldn't stop when she said he was hurting her. The male actors and some other dudes would usually be snickering and dismissive of the girls. It just makes me wonder how common it is for actresses to be treated that way. I get that they're PRN stars but they signed up to duck in front of a camera, not be abused. It's disgusting that these women couldn't even trust their co-workers to stop if they're hurting them. I don't know how common it is but the number of outtakes I saw that followed that theme was really unsettling. And they felt it was fine to include in a bloopers reel, which says it all really. I get off to some pretty rough stuff sometimes but it's just fantasy and I always just assumed that for the most part it's acting the girl was into it. This thread has me really worried about what I've looked at in the past now. I dated a girl a few years back that did online PRN for a small company based out of Florida. It was ran by a couple in their late 30s. She only was supposed to do solo stuff. Showering. Self-pleasure. Fake pov. etc. But they began to pressure her to do stuff with the owners on cam which she was completely against. She got out of the business and had to take the company to court to have all of her videos and pics pulled from their websites. Wood Rocket has a YouTube channel with the Ask a PRN Star series which will pretty much top anything discussed on this thread. Puke. Shti. Period blood. An 8-ball jammed into a vagina. DCK saws. Drugs. Stalkers. If this is the same thing I watched, there is this one part where a male performer goes on the best rant I've ever heard. Paraphrasing. But it was something along the lines of, look, you can't be surprised if you duck a girl in the butt and some poop comes out. The butt is where poop lives. That's poop's house. You wouldn't go to my house and be surprised when you see me there, would you? Comma, being stranded on a shack in Brazil. One of these things is not like the other. I've worked for a fetish clips site for about 7 years now. I've been involved in production a handful of times, mostly doing camera work. But sometimes being a slave for a clip, very light stuff like foot or armpit worship. One time I was doing camera for a trampling clip where the two doms were standing on their slave in stilettos, but having a casual conversation as if they weren't even aware that they were standing on some dude's face and stomach and junk. At about mid-scene, one of the girls changes her footing and steps a little lower on the guy's abdomen, and the guy instantly lets out this huge fart. We all just died laughing and had to take a break to gather ourselves. Easily the funniest thing that ever happened to me while filming a clip. Comma, stilettos. Okay. Comma, standing on some dude's face and stomach and junk. Oh no. Comma, changes her footing and steps a little lower on the guy's abdomen. No woo. Comma, guy instantly lets out this huge fart. Oh. Hep. Not a PRN star, but having seen this come up quite a bit. If she's on her period, doesn't matter. They literally shove a sponge up there, not a tampon. An actual sponge, and keep shooting. I've read horror stories of actresses who forgot the sponge was up there for a few days until the next shoot. And everybody gagging when it comes out. Lol, I remember Asa Akira talking about this on DVD ASA. Yeah, apparently forgetting that thing up there, it gets petrified, and when it comes out it's the foulest smelling thing. She also had some other stories about the PRN industry, like girls faking having cancer. How huge DCKS errant is hard because blood flow. Accidental cream peas and a bunch of other stuff. This thread is disturbing. Not a PRN star, but knew a guy who starred in a semi-mainstream Bang Bros-esque video. A lot of the girls gag and vomit during blowjobs, and they edit it out. But in some scenes you can see traces of stomach chunks on the guy's leg. Also, a lot of the girls squirt out bits of rectal juice during anal scenes. They try to carefully edit it in post, but sometimes you can still see traces of fecal juice both on the girl's anus and the guy's manservant. Welp. Strictly missionary PRN for me from here on out. Me before reading this thread. Hep. This should be funny. Probably bloopers and funny moments. Needless to say, that I don't really feel like laughing now. Edit 1. Whoa, this really blew up. Thanks for all the upvotes, everyone. I appreciate it. I've been on Reddit a long time and never thought this would happen to me. Feels like a dream. I can't pass this opportunity to humble brag and milk a few more upvotes from my unoriginal comment. I've longed to stop watching PRN, and this thread might have just done it. Have a close friend who was pretty well known 10-15 years ago. Things she told me. Hopefully some of this has changed. The PRN industry does not use the most updated HIV testing methods. STDs are extremely common. The smell on a PRN shoot is disgusting. When a girl gags on a DCK and a tear might come out. Lot of times the tears are from crying, not gagging. As a woman you can tell your manager or agent of agency things like I don't do an L, and they might tell you okay but you will be booked for an L at some point, and when you show up and say you won't do it they will say fine, but we have no use for you, and you go home empty-handed. It's common for a woman to run to the bathroom and vomit during a shoot. Other than this, it's a great place to meet people and network. Reddit is not only filled with introverted gamers, but also loads of ex-PRN workers. You have to poop before an L shoots while the director watches. I once read an interview with Nicole Aniston, let's not pretend most of us don't know her, where she said that most actresses are drug addicts and overall most people in PRN are horrible people you would never like to be friends with. All of the reasons I read erotica. Nobody gets hurt. It's just some dude at home writing on a computer when he gets the time. XP Runstar here. Many women in PRN are also being sex trafficked and drugged heavily daily. Just not drugged during the videos. A lot of the PRN agencies don't prefer anyone that looks like an adult. They prefer 18-year-olds that look 13, unless they are an adult woman with giant boobs. They hate tattoos and won't cast you if you have any logos i.e. Hello Kitty. The male P-Run stars are normally ugly as duck, but we can pick them. P-Run stars are only tested for AIDS. Nothing else normally. Also, facial abuse casts women being trafficked knowingly. I live in a third world country. Used to be a regular in an internet cafe, and there was this guy who was also frequent there. He would video chat with people. His camera was linked to a looping video of a topless girl typing and smiling. He would ask for donations through PayPal. It was ducked up, thinking that these people don't know it's all fake. If you care about your personal health and refuse to do nasty stuff to your body in an effort to look extreme, they really don't give a single shit about you. Won't do ass to mouth, ass to vag, non-body safe items in your holes. You won't be back for another shoot. The drug abuse. You can see most of the girl's appearance change after it. Also, the addiction to cosmetic surgery. Is this one of those Reddit posts that will appear in the Daily Mail online soon in the guise of some sort of journalism? Is there any PRN that is safe to watch? Can't believe I've jerked off to something that could have been real up. Ascend to Hentai Master Race S. Welp. The crew are paid in parties, but the actual pay is shitty. And they don't like it when you leave, because the pay is shitty and they can't really get new talent. Here come the not a P-Run star. But not a P-Run star. But I think foam insulation is superior to cellulose. Yep. I hear some of those tentacles get exploited on set. The last time I looked at PRN was on a mainstream website, P-Run Hub. This girl was clearly drugged and being uphead. It wasn't advertised as that, but it was obvious. I reported the video. I've been disgusted with it since then. That was a while ago. I think the industry is incredibly evil and corrupt, and something needs to be done. I have nothing against healthy PRN itself, but the surrounding culture and reality of it left a bad impression. I can't look at a video without thinking, now, is she being exploited? It's a shame that it creates so much human suffering and ruined lives. I don't want to support it. Well, I needed more arguments to help myself from watching PRN. I guess that's it. Sounds to me like the PRN industry is like the Hollywood's Me Too. Why do people complain about that this thread doesn't have a NSFW tag? Is it an etiquette thing I'm unaware of? As far as I can tell, if the title has the word PRN in it, I feel like it's a safe assumption. For those who browse Reddit at work or on a public device, they can turn on a mode in Reddit's settings that hides all NSFW content from their feed. Thus, this not having a NSFW tag means it is shown in their feed. And any passerbys may see fire screen or work monitor systems will register cache the word PRN and most likely get them in a lot of trouble. I don't know what I was expecting coming here, and I'm not sure if I regret reading all of this yet, but this was more intense than I bargained for. That's the reality of PRN. What you see in videos is a fabricated creation. It. One ex-cam star and a whole slew of not a P-Run star. But TLDR, this thread. Sometimes poop comes out. So, I'm definitely done with PRN after reading this. 1. Cutting a hole in a pumpkin. Then ducking it is way more fun than you might realize. 2. Most PRN outfits are bought at low-end stores. For a one and done. Why waste money on good lingerie and outfits? 3. There is such a thing as a DCK that's too big to duck. Can you do it? Sure. But at a certain size it just doesn't feel pleasurable. 4. If you're doing the modeling part properly, you'll be in pain in the morning. The positions that look good for camera involve unpleasant contortions. I'm only supposed to put 6 olives on your foot long. You all deserve to know. A Screddit should have a filter system by which we can filter out not a insert to whom the question asked, but comments. In all fairness, half of those answers were insightful, coming from people who work in the industry but aren't actually PRUN stars themselves. I used to shoot a lot of fetish photos for people and worked on about 200 PRN sites. The biggest secret I think I could share is the burnout rate. Most girls don't last a month and they leave far worse off than they came in. The other dirty secret I'd share is that the money is real. For the right people. For those PRN sites, I was pulling in $5 to $10k a site. If I'd sold the same site to a real estate agent, I'd have struggled to get half that. And rarely get paid without a fight. Not a PRN star, again. Sorry, but I worked in a PRN store back in the 90s for 6 years and we received a magazine called AVN, Adult Video News. It was filled with gossip columns which I read all the time because I was bored out of my mind. It was all fist fights, drug overdoses, connections with organized crime, and federal investigations. A few times a year you would read about a PRUN star who was HIV positive. People ducking shocked the PRN industry is seedy. If you're looking for ethical PRN erotic films, com is the place to go. Everyone involved is willing. Nice try. Erotic films. Com salesman. I didn't think it would be a secret, but if I'm paid to pretend to be into US Suoli or more generally, GFE, I'm lying to you about how much I like you and or your cock. You paid me to. And some of us actually love our jobs because of the time flexibility, etc. Don't assume we're all victims. But also please don't be a rude client. Guys, if you're not a PRUN star, then don't answer the ducking question. Do we really want to know? If McDonald's made their employees punch puppies every time they made a cheeseburger, I'd want to know. What right have you not to know who suffers for your pleasure? Is their pain too real? Or our ignorance too blissful? Are there really no ethics watchdogs for this industry? It's really ducked up that it seems like nothing is being done about the seemingly rampant abuse in the industry. Truly shameful. PRUN star here. If you can't get up, a finger dipped in Tabasco up the butt usually does the trick. My cousin used to work in pre and post production editing. She eventually quit because the long hours were taking a toll on her health. Here's what she told me. The freakier the scene, the higher the pay. A lot of them are really just doing it because it's a ton of money and it's made fast. Most of them are doing it to fund their college tuition. Cam shows is where the most money is made. GG pays the least. Could somebody make a really big, ethical, no closed doors type PRN company or like PRN union or something? Obviously PRN's never gonna die, but we could always make it safer and legit. Pretty simple if you have the money to start it, I'd think, and you weren't a total DCK. Dude is asking the wrong question here. The entire industry is bad. Watch any documentary about this subject and you will how sad the life of a PRUN star is. Lots of those not very famous actresses have drug problems, depression, die in weird ways, or even commit suicide. And don't get me started on prostitution industry, which is even 2 levels lower in hell. You should ask what clean secrets you have about the industry or what is nice in it. Not clicking. If you have seen PRN, you can clearly see there are problems. The least of which are hygiene, consent, or legality. Percent 90 is advertised as teen. It's safe to say this thread's comments are going to be sad anecdotes about our pay or legal issues. Will this stop men from watching PRN? Of course not. But wouldn't it be nice if people got treated better after reading these comments? If you read this and you feel sick about what they are saying, then I challenge you do better in your life in any way possible. Treat a woman with respect. Hug a woman you love and tell her everything is going to be alright. Teach your daughter that she is so much more than her body or her sexuality. Sasha Grey went to my high school. She is inspirational. My favorite quote from her: I ran a security business and I have met a fair share of P-rent stars. They would hire one or two of my contractors to watch their backs during public shows and the inevitable private VIP wink wink nosed wink wink rooms. The stories they tell is one of the reasons I have reservation regarding legalized prostitution. Not related to PRN and not a P-rent star myself, but my puppy finally rang a bell to the door to get let out. She is cute. Time to take a shot. Might consider adding a serious tag to this. Seems to be a lot of jokes being made while serious commenters are talking about our pay and human trafficking. I keep getting matches on dating apps like Tinder and Bumble that turn out to be cam girls. Is this a common tactic to try and get more viewers, or is it just some sort of other scam? I'm genuinely curious about how often it works or not. Most of them are bots, easy to set up, really low cost, and even at a success rate of 0. I had no idea this many P-rent stars were on Reddit. MFW, this thread isn't marked NSFW.